Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Amitha. Join me weekly as I talk to guests who will inspire us with their success stories and transformational events. Make disability an ability. This is the vision of Handicare International, which is a registered Canadian charity. It's making a huge impact on the world. And today, we are going to learn more about this organization. It's my pleasure to welcome to our show the founder and president of Handicare International, Mr. Sulo Krishnamurthy, and advisory committee member and head of the development committee, Mr. Kalyan Sundaram. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we are excited to find out about an event that's upcoming as part of Ontario 150. But before that, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your part in this amazing organization.
Well, I was educated as a research chemist. I came to this country in 1971, and I started working in the university, and then I moved on to a pharmaceutical industry where I did research work on pharmaceuticals for 17 years. And my family background is I grew up with two siblings, both born with muscular dystrophy. And my brother's condition was very severe. My sister was moderate. And the amount of struggle my family went through was enormous. And that has made a founding stone in my life. My father was a mentor, and he had a lot of foresight as to how to win over this disability that they both had. So his vision was to educate them to the maximum so they will be independent and they will not only serve themselves but be of service to others as well. He groomed us that way. It so happened his vision materialized. My brother is a chartered accountant. He passed out at the age of 22 with both CA and BCom and other degrees. He was the first rank holder in Tamil Nadu and the fourth rank holder in the whole of India. So then he moved on to follow my father's vision, with my father's help, to build a society, to build awareness and to build a society that is barrier-free. So he and another gentleman who was also disabled, they formed what's called Amar Seva Sangam in southern India. They initially started with 25 disabled children with very poor rural background, offered them education and medical treatment and all that. That was 26, 27 years ago. From then on, now it's moved on to a nationally recognized and even globally recognized organization. My brother has won a lot of awards, from president to a CNN hero to Helen Keller Award, things like that. Anyway, to make the story short, in 1992, when my brother got involved with that, he asked me to help him. Then because of my own passion and my grooming, I decided to quit my job in research. I was getting fatigued anyway. And then start something that is useful to everyone. So I quit my job, and then I registered Handicare International as a Canadian registered charity. And from then on, it was moving inch by inch and spreading the word around and things like that. By God's grace, things fell into place, and we have done a lot of work in that area.
A lot of achievements.
Yeah, and another thing is Handicare International is a completely volunteer-run organization. No one is on the payroll, and our expenses are less than 3% a year. So almost more than 97% of everyone's donation goes straight into our projects to help the disabled.
Amazing. Defy the expectations that people have of disability, and that's an example that came from your family. And we have an organization that's making a difference. So what is your role, Mr. Sundaram, in this organization?
Well, it's a pleasure to be on your show, Amitha, and it's a great privilege to be part of Handicare International. And as Mrs. Krishnamurthy had mentioned, it's a great organization that's celebrating its 25th year, completing its 25 years in service of these special needs people, both here and in India. My role has been one, initially as an observer and an admirer of the work that Mrs. Krishnamurthy has been doing for a number of years, then slowly as a participant, and then I visited Amar Seva Sangam about 10 years ago. And I think a visit to that place is a life-altering experience. I think you have to be there, see the children, see the smiles on their faces, see how purposeful they are. And we are all kinds of people. We all have very, fortunate lives. We have most of what we need, and yet no day goes by when we are disturbed or upset at something or the other. Our moods are not predictable, and yet you see these children who have all these phenomenal amount of disabilities, and they have a smile on their face all the time. So I think it's a very inspiring thing to do, and it got me a lot more involved, and I think it got a lot of other people who visited Amar Seva Sangam similarly involved. And that's why there's a number of volunteers who have been working with Handycare. On my own, I've been a telecom professional for a number of years. And since retiring, I worked in the not-for-profit sector, first with the Indus Entrepreneurs, or TIE, and for the last 7 or 8 years as the Executive Director of Canada-India Foundation. Now I'm spending more time with Handicare in their advisory committee to assist them with new programs. And also in the specific instance that we're going to talk about, to organize this event on November 4th, called Celebrate Ontario 150 with the South Asian children and youth of special needs.
Amazing. What an amazing gift on its own to be involved with these children and to help them progress in life. So we're going to find out about this amazing event on November 4th. But before that, tell us a little bit about the achievements thus far.
Well, as I started off saying, we started very small. Our main focus was to help my brother build Amar Seva Sangam. So I started practically knocking door to door, calling up my friends, visiting them. And initially, the response was very good. We built the very first rehab center within Amar Seva Sangam, where these children were mostly severely disabled with polio and very poor background. So we offered them high-quality education and medical treatment and rehabilitation services. And we could see how these children were blossoming. They were doing extremely good. And in a few years, we started taking in mentally challenged children as well, because as polio was eradicated, there was more need for children with developmental delays and with special needs. Their needs need to be addressed. So we started taking them. So then Handicare built a center for special education. And we also started sending Canadian volunteers to go and work with these children in special education and to assess the progress and different things like that. It gave an enormous opportunity for our student volunteers, which made both Amar Seva Sangam and Handicare grow. And in future, we also started, because the rehab center, it is one of the top centers in South India. It's a second to a major Jigmore center.
It sounds like it. A lot of achievements.
Yeah.
So we want to find out more about the achievements. But before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking about Handicare International. So excited to know further about the achievements.
Well, then after establishing this Center for Special Education, we have done so many other things as well. We established an early intervention center, which is a current major project that's happening in India. And we also do other projects with other charities in India on a project basis. For example, after the 2004 tsunami, we rebuilt an entire village in Kadalur with partnering with another organization called CREED. And then we also supported a school, Dream School in Bangalore to educate women further because most families stop them with grade 10. So we put them through grade 11 and 12 and further schooling. And we also support another organization called Maitri, run by a polio victim in Chennai itself. He gathers the rural poor children who are physically normal and mentally capable. He puts them through good schools so they achieve high studies. Many of them have become engineers, lawyers, some doctors, and some are working in Dubai, things like that. It's a great successful story. we have been supporting them as well for the past 20 years. So, and coming back to Amar Seva Sangam, we have built a lot of centers within. Also, we have sponsored individual children through individual sponsorships. So all their educational and medical and rehab needs are taken care of. And our current project is early intervention, and where we applied to Grand Challenges Canada. It's an arm of Canadian government. And they looked at our work. They initially gave us a small funding. And pleased with that success, now they have approved a large funding of $600,000 on a matching basis. So that's the current project that's going on currently. And we have taken about 700 children in 800 villages around. And Canadian government also wants to make it a global research project where professors from University of Toronto are currently in India heading the research project as well. And the other major achievement, if I may, we are placing Canadian students, like graduate students, in physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy and all, for a credit course. This has been happening for over 10 years. And in the last 2 years alone, more than 55 such students are in India. So they work with our therapists in India, as well as they bring in the Canadian knowledge and the Canadian technology and techniques. And it's a beautiful partnership between the two organizations. It has blossomed. That is why the rehab center has blossomed to be number 2 in whole of South India. Well,
congratulations. I must say, various walks of life is what you try to target, and it's really helping. Sometimes people focus on one segment. Yes, maybe you focus on one segment, but it's from various walks of life, and you're getting them to different parts of the world, different professions, and truly making disability and ability. Hats off to the organization.
A couple of things I want to add in here. I think, there's so much in there. One is that there's also a major center for spinal cord injury. And some of the people who came to the center before, they were people pretty much on the streets. There was nothing for them. They had been injured. There was nobody to look after them. Fortunately, they found a sponsor, found a benefactor who was aware of the work that was being done here, brought them over. And now, 5-6 years later, they are very productive members of the community, and they are great spokesperson for the organization. The organization, and especially Mr. Shankar Raman, they also run half marathons and marathons all over the country to raise funds. And a lot of activity goes on to highlight awareness. And the other thing I wanted to mention was about the universities here. The number of people who come from Canada in terms of physiotherapy and also doctors covers a range of universities from British Columbia all the way to the east, from west to east.
8 universities are affiliated with us, and each placement, the student gets a credit for it towards their degree. As well, we have professional physiotherapists and occupational therapists who are visiting with each batch of students as their supervisors and guide.
Wow, amazing.
They are all volunteers as well.
Wow, a completely volunteer-run organization achieving so much. Do you have any partners that are associated and who help also with the different projects and events?
Well, the major partnership is with Amar Seva Sangam, and with the capacity they have in terms of all areas, headed by my brother, who is a super brain there. We have most things covered, and we have very, very capable heads of each department, both in Amar Seva Sangam and on our advisory board here in Canada. For example, my son Dinesh, Dr. Dinesh Krishna, he heads the placement project. He is the one who interviews and selects the students, as well as recruits the volunteer professionals. And he goes around conducting seminars and spreading awareness about all this.
So the whole community can get involved and make a difference in their own community and globally. I understand also, as part of what you provide, we were talking about this on break, about the surgery that's not available in Canada, but you help families raise funds so that they can get the surgery done in US. I really wanted to cover that because that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's called an SDR surgery. It is some dorsal rhizotomy for children with spasticity, born with cerebral palsy, and their brain does not conduct the right kind of message to their muscles and the nervous system. So their legs become spastic. They are not able to sit. They are not able to walk, and some of them are affected in their hands as well. So this particular surgery is done on the spine. It opens up the spine. They open the spine and then does something to the nerves. So the message conducted can be reversed or altered properly. Right. But this very super specialized surgery is not supported in Canada. Our health insurance doesn't cover it. I think there is a proposal to cover it in the near future, or it's already on its process. But in the meantime, the surgery is available only in the States. So just the surgery part alone costs close to 100,000 Canadian dollars. Yeah. Plus the family has to stay there for a whole month, and the expenses of living and the post-operative therapy and all that, it can be easily $150,000.
So, but you are helping families here who may need it go to the States and help them raise funds.
Yeah.
Amazing. Lots of projects on hand that have been achieved and that are happening right now. And then there's an event that's coming up on November 4th as part of Ontario 150. So we want to talk about that. We want to get people involved in that. But before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking about Handicare International, which is making a huge impact in our community and the world. So great. Now we want to find out about this event that's upcoming on November 4th, because we are already so inspired by everything that you do. So tell us a bit more about this Ontario 150 event.
Okay. As you know, this is Canada's 150th year, and it's an event, it's a year that we've all been celebrating the great country Canada is and the home for people of so many different communities. And as part of that, of course, the Canadian government, both the federal and the provincial governments, have initiated programs to celebrate Canada's 150 program. And Handicare International is very proud and very privileged to be part of this celebration program, particularly the Celebrate Ontario 150 program. We are very grateful to the Government of Ontario for supporting us on this initiative. And as part of the Celebrate Ontario 150 program, we are organizing an event on November the 4th at the Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation, or SVBF, in Etobicoke on November 4th to celebrate Ontario 150 with South Asian children and youth of special needs. And I think this is very important because, to the best of my knowledge, there's not been an event of this nature where children and youth of special needs have come together to celebrate an event of this nature. And particularly in the South Asian community, as you're aware, that the community is quite big, and the concept of dealing positively with people of special needs is an evolving mindset. Yeah. People do support it, families are very supportive, but as a collective community support, I think we're still getting there. I think there's a lot we can learn from some of the other communities. I think that this event is, we feel, is an important opportunity for the South Asian families who have children and who have grown children of special needs to come together to celebrate Ontario 150, but more importantly, to build awareness and build a community of interest so that they can help each other and also help the government to identify priorities and policies.
Amazing. So there's definitely a lot of stigma associated with disability. And as we were saying, in our community, we need to do more work. But if we have trailblazers like you, like Handicare International, we are not far from that day where, as your vision says, disability will be more an ability. So this event happening on November 4th at the Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation, where can we get more information, or how can we get more involved?
Yeah. For one thing, this particular event is free of charge, and also a vegetarian dinner will be included. And this event will be like, we want to celebrate and motivate our young children and youth with disabilities. So we are arranging a program that will be interactive. There'll be music, dance, painting, and different such activities where we want to involve the children as well into this. We want it to be a fun day for them to remember when they leave the place. More information about this is available on our website, which is www.handicareintl.org. That is handicareintl.org. If they visit our website, all the information is available to them. And we would like the participants to register ahead of time. So we have a head count as how many people are coming and how to organize the whole evening. It'll run from 3 to 6 on November 4th. So we want the participants and the parents to arrive a little early so they can start mingling and getting seated and things like that. So they have to register. So when they go to our website, there is a direct link for them to register. If they register, we have given a deadline of October 10th. If they register by that time, it gives us ample time to organize the program to be a great success.
Just quickly, through this event, through your program and through other initiatives, we want to tell the South Asian families who may have special needs that they can become aware of the event and then they can register. I think we are looking for that sort of visibility through this program.
Yes,
so let's do it. Let's be part of this amazing event and let's make a change, a better improvement in our community. So it's on November 4th at the Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation. For more information, visit Handicare International website. Coming back to Handicare though, this is one event, but how can we generally get involved with Handicare International in general?
Well, the thing is, we have been more or less a funding agency and a project management for all the projects that are happening in India. So the current focus is on early intervention. As I said, we have taken up this huge project and the government is funding us only for 3 years. So next year is our final year. So we want people to contribute towards that by sponsoring each child. Each child is only $400 per year or an endowment of $2,000, that's lifetime. And the entire amount will be matched by the Government of Canada. And all the information about the particular child you are sponsoring will be given to you by email. It will be posted on our website. And there's complete transparency in everything we do. So we encourage people to sponsor the child or just make a general donation towards the matching funds. That is one great help that we require. And the other areas, they can visit our center in India and find out what we are doing, and even just some volunteer work at Handicare office would be helpful.
Yes.
Things like that.
And there's great presence of Canada at the Amar Seva Sangam location. So you visit there, you'll find Canada stamp everywhere. Canadian contributions are highly recognized, and the people there are greatly appreciative of the contributions from the Canadian community.
Well, thank you so much for inspiring us today. There's so much we can do for the world, and here's a start with Handicare International, whether you want to be part of the general organization or maybe even be part of the upcoming event on November the 4th. So thank you so much for coming and talking to us today and inspiring us.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that was Mrs. Sulochana Krishnamurthy and Mr. Kalyan Sundaram on behalf of Handicare International. They have inspired us to realize that we can make disability an ability. Well, that's a wrap for this week's show. Thank you for watching us. Until next week, continue to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and write to us at spotlight@ethnicchannels.com. This is Amitha signing off, encouraging you to make a difference in your community.